So let's discuss about the restriction endonucleases, that are the enzymes mainly used in the genetic engineering techniques, and these restriction endonucleases, they are highly specific. In my last video I told you that there are basically 3 types of restriction endonucleases, but restriction endonucleases 2 are mainly used in this techniques because they are highly specific and they make cut at the palindromic sequences. Now restriction endonucleases are the enzymes that cut the DNA and give 2 types of ends, that is the blunt ends and sticky ends. These blunt ends, they are also called flush ends, and the sticky ends are also called cohesive ends. So many restriction enzymes, they were isolated. So last time we have discussed this isolation of Hind2. So the very apart from this Hind2, many other important enzymes were also isolated, and you can write its sequence, that is EcoR1. This EcoR1, it has been isolated from this Escherichia coli bacteria, and it recognizes the sequence, that is GAATTC. So if the direction of this GAATC is from 5 prime to 3 prime, then its complementary sequence will be CTTAAG. Clear? So these restriction endonucleases, they make 2 kinds of cuts. They make the blunt ends or the sticky ends. For example, this one variant of this EcoR1 is EcoR5. It has also been isolated from this E. coli, but it makes blunt ends. So what do you mean by blunt end? For example, this enzyme, it recognizes the sequence, this GATATC. The complementary sequence will be CTATAG. Now we have this sequence is from 5 prime to 3 prime, and second is from 3 prime to 5 prime. Its complementary sequence will be in the opposite and the anti-parallel direction. Now what I mean to say, that this restriction endonucleases, from where I have started, that this restriction endonucleases, it makes 2 types of cuts. So firstly, it makes the cut, the case 1, it makes the cut from the center. If it makes the cut from the center or from the middle, that means it will give rise to blunt ends. Clear? So this GAT and this ATC, it will go far apart from each other. So when I am going to repeat, when the restriction endonucleases will make the cut in the middle, now these 2 sequences, they will go apart. This second case is this EcoR1. This enzyme is also have been isolated from E. coli, and its recognition sequence is a GAATTC. Now this enzyme, it makes cuts from the sides. It cleaves this recognition sequence from the sides, and they produce short single stranded hanging structures, and these structures, they are called sticky ends. Now you can see the result of this cleavage will be GCTTAA. It will be like this. Sorry, it will be like this, and the second sequence will be like this. So this sequence, and we will get this another sequence. Now your question should be that why they are called sticky ends. They are called sticky ends because base pairing between them, as these TT is complementary to this and AA is complementary to this. So as these sequences, they are complementary to each other, and because of this base pairing, it can stick the DNA molecule again. Clear? So this can stick this DNA molecule again, and obviously there will be no fun of cutting this sequence. So there are many enzymes that also prevents its base pairing. But now I am telling you that what is this cohesive end or sticky end, that when the sequences they have base pairing and that they can stick with each other again, they are called this cohesive ends or sticky ends. So I am going to repeat it this briefly. This restriction endonucleases will give two types of cuts, this blunt ends and the sticky ends. If the restriction endonucleases they may cut in the center or in the middle, then it will give rise to blunt end, but if they may cut at the sides, then it will give rise to sticky ends. Clear? Now you have the different fragments of the DNA. So next what will you do? You will separate this DNA with the help of the technique called agarose gel electrophoresis. What you will do? You will separate the DNA with the help of agarose gel electrophoresis, in which the fragments of DNA they will be separated on the basis of size. Clear? So after these DNA it has been separated with the help of this technique, next is to find the vector, suitable vector for the DNA into which your this desired gene can be inserted, or can be we can say it can be inserted and copied. Clear? So now you have this your desired DNA. Clear? This is your desired insulin gene. Now what you need? You need vector. In my first lecture I told you that this cannot work alone. This has to be inserted in some vector, and this vector is also called vehicle. This vector is also called vehicle. Clear? Now this vector, it can be, we can use this vector can be of two types. First is plasmids and second one is bacteriophages. Plasmids and bacteriophages. Now let's discuss that what are plasmids. Plasmids are, these are extra chromosomal DNA. Extra chromosomal DNA present in bacterial cell. So if you have studied the structure of this bacteria, or you have studied kingdom Monera, then you should know what are plasmids. Plasmids, they are extra chromosomal DNA that are present in bacterial cell apart from its own DNA. Now these plasmids, they can act as vector into which our this desired gene can be inserted. Clear? So for example, this is plasmid, and this one is your desired gene. This is your desired gene of insulin. Now what we will do? We will insert this gene into this vector like this. We will insert this gene into this vector, into this plasmid, and this is called I'll write here recombinant DNA molecule. It is the recombinant DNA molecule. So what is recombinant DNA molecule? Recombinant DNA carries the two different types of gene. Here we are carrying the two genes. For example, if it is A gene, this one is B. So what we are doing? We are inserting our A gene into the B one. So it is the recombination of basically A plus B. So it is recombinant DNA molecule. Is it clear? So we can say apart from the recombinant, you can also call it a hybrid. You called it chimeric DNA, basically which consists of the additional foreign DNA. So this A DNA is the additional foreign DNA. So here we have the recombination of both. Now this inserted foreign DNA, it will simultaneously replicate with the remaining part of the vector. Why we have inserted this gene into this vector? Because when it will be multiplied, so obviously this gene will also get multiplied simultaneously. Okay. So what we should know some of the characteristics of good vector. Characteristics of good vector. You, for example, you have to choose the of good vector. We have to choose a vector and we should know some of its characteristics. So first characteristic is that its size should be less than 10 kb. It is the ideal size in which we can insert our DNA, because if its own size will be more than that, then we can insert only the smaller fragments. So the size of the vector, it should be less than 10 kb. Now the second is it should contain origin of replication. It should have origin of replication. Now origin of replication is the point from where the multiplication of DNA takes place. I mean to say, it is the point from where it will be able to multiply within the cell. So it should be able to replicate, so that its foreign DNA that is introduced into the vector will also replicate during this process. कि खुद ते वो जड़ा है खुद रेप्लीकेट हो रहा है, प्लस जड़ा DNA फॉरेन DNA है it should also replicate. Third is it should carry selectable markers. It should carry selectable markers. So this we will discuss in detail. It is also very important कि actually what is it. So हुन तक तुसी याद कर लो बस कि it should carry selectable markers, and the markers that we basically use is the antibiotic resistant genes. Antibiotic resistant genes. So it is also different in the different plasmids. So basically plasmids, as I have said earlier, plasmids and bacteriophages, they can be used as the vectors or vehicles for cloning purposes in prokaryotes, particularly bacteria. So clear? Now you have your desired gene. After desired gene, you need to choose the ideal vector, and while choosing the vector, what are the characteristics that you will consider? First is its size should be less than 10 kb. Second, it should carry origin of replication due to which it will be able to multiply, and second one is it should carry selectable markers, and mainly used selectable markers are antibiotic resistant genes. So I hope this is clear to you. So in my next lecture I will discuss this, that how this multiplication is done in these genetic engineering techniques.